If you're passionate about change and love a good laugh, then you need to join Chuck and Joe. Chuck and Joe are a dynamic husband and wife duo, tackling the biggest issues across the nation and around the globe. With a blend of wit and wisdom, they dive deep into current events, giving you the lowdown with a side of humor. They're not just talking heads, they're your fellow freedom fighters, committed to sparking meaningful conversations. From politics to social justice, no topic is off limits. So hit that subscribe button and join the freedom fighter community today. Let's laugh, learn, and fight for a better world together. Welcome to the Freedom Fighters podcast, where serious meets funny, just like Chuck and Joe.
Good evening, everyone. This is February 20th, 2026, and it's a Friday. This is Chuck and Joe and the Freedom Fighters, and welcome to this podcast. I'd first of all like everyone, if you would, to hit the like and subscribe button for me if at all possible. I just want to get that out of the way. I need that hit for our algorithm so that we can pass these things on to other Americans, and so they'll be aware of maybe some things that they're not putting on the nightly or daily news. I'm going to start off this time, folks, with something that I've written out. We have the SAVE Act coming up to be voted on if Thune puts it through. I'd like to start out by doing a 3-part series on the SAVE Act, why I support the SAVE Act, how the SAVE Act helps American citizens, and where senators stand in that segment. And then segment 3 will be the filibuster or the zombie filibuster and what will come next. Tonight, I'm just going to read to you what I've written for the first part and then go into with you a little about the news, go into the news with you, a little about the news today and what's come across on this day that I feel has really affected America. So let me start this first part by being completely clear about where I stand. I'm a proud supporter of the Republican Party. I support the SAVE Act because I believe it is about protecting the integrity of the American elections. That is, it's not complicated and it's not sinister. It's about making sure the American citizens decide the American elections. To me, the SAVE Act is rooted in a very simple principle. Citizenship matters. Voting is one of the most sacred rights that we have in this country. People have fought for it. People have died for it. And it is tied directly to being a citizen of this great United States. The SAVE Act reinforces the connection by requiring proof of citizenship when registering to vote in federal elections. Now, why do Republicans want this? From my perspective, it's because we believe in election and they believe in election security and public trust. If people start doubting whether elections are secure, the entire system begins to weaken. Confidence in elections is foundational and fundamental. When Americans go to the polls, they need to know that the process is fair, transparent, and protected from fraud. Republicans argue that the SAVE Act is a preventative measure. It's not about accusing large groups of people of wrongdoing. Not at all. It's about closing loopholes before they become problems. We already require identification for many basic activities in our daily life, do we not? Boarding a plane, opening a bank account, even picking up certain packages. So the argument is simple. If voting is one of the most important actions a citizen can take, why wouldn't we require clear proof of citizenship? Critics say that this bill is unnecessary. I disagree. Laws aren't only written after a disaster happens. Many laws exist to prevent problems before they grow. In my view, protecting the voter rolls and ensuring that only citizens are registered is just common sense. There's also another piece to this: national sovereignty. A country that doesn't control its elections is a country that risks losing control in its future. The SAVE Act, as I see it, reinforces that elections belong to the citizens, not permanent residents, not visa holders, not anyone else, citizens. Supporters also argue that most Americans already have the documents required to prove citizenship: birth certificates, passports, or naturalization papers. So from this side of the debate, the burden is considered reasonable. Yep. It's not meant to stop legitimate voters. It's meant to verify eligibility. Opponents, many of whom are in the Democratic Party, argue that the bill could make it harder for some Americans to register, especially those who may not have easy access to documents. I understand that concern, but supporters of this bill argue that safeguards can be built to ensure access while maintaining standards. They also believe that us women are part of the problem, that somehow we don't know how to change name and go to a courthouse. Well, I think that's silly. We've all done it. And if you haven't, it's not that hard. It's kind of a joke, I think, that women can't go up and get a piece of paper to prove who they are. To me, it isn't about party, warfare. It's about clarity. It's about making the rules straightforward and consistent nationwide. If we want less division around elections, then strengthening the process is one way to get there. At the end of the day, I support the SAVE Act because I believe citizenship should be verified in federal elections. And I believe that strengthens, not weakens, our democracy. That's my position, clear, direct, with no apologies. I also want to share a couple of other things with you this evening. Thune is putting everything on Mitch McConnell on his lap so that the SAVE Act won't come to pass or even get to the floor. He needs voted out. And I'm talking about Thune because we all know that Mitch McConnell's not running again. I don't think Mitch McConnell even knows how to get to his office from where they vote, where they do anything in the House or the Senate. He stood in front of reporters the other day and couldn't even speak. It was absolutely ludicrous. He just stood and absolutely stared at the cameras. I felt really bad for him. And at the same time, I thought, well, this is what you get for all the years that you've made people's lives just horrible. And if you didn't know this, Mitch McConnell was Thune's mentor. Sure was. And he's not going to be in the next election, so he doesn't mind if he throws it off onto Mitch McConnell. And Thune doesn't mind it. I'm very upset with him. I'm very upset that he doesn't see what the people are asking for. To me, I really believe Thune is in there for much more than the American people. I think money talks. That's what I think, Thune. Thune needs to go. And so do the Rhino Republicans. Trump needs supported. America needs supported. We voted Trump in with an overwhelming majority. So don't you think, Thune, that you should listen to the American people and what we want, not what you want? Your great leader, Mitch McConnell, has lost his mind literally. You need to stand up and be a big boy. Put on your big boy pants and do the right thing. The only man that I find in Congress, and I'm sure there are several, but this is the only two that I see out in front anymore, that I even find that are good people. And I'm sorry, I mean that. It's Tim Burchett from Tennessee, and of course, John Fetterman from Pennsylvania. And yes, he's a Democrat, folks. But I believe that they both believe in America and the American people. That's right. They believe in the American people. And they see what common sense is. You know, they play us for fools, America, and we're not. This is the type of stuff that we get wrong, all the time. And when I say that, I mean voting people in that shouldn't be in there. We need to make it right. Get Thune out. Mitch McConnell's leaving. Maybe we can get rid of some of these rhinos so that maybe America can get back on track for what we really want to do and what we really need. I'm frustrated with Congress doing what they want instead of what the American people want. We know how to think. We can see where this country is going, and it's quite frankly going to hell if we do not help it. If we do not jump on the bandwagon, help the President of the United States, because frankly, I think everyone's lost their mind in Congress, not to mention the Supreme Court. Last thing I want to say about that is, I don't know if you know this, but Trump helped Mitch McConnell in the last race, helped him tremendously, and this is how he repays him. He obviously doesn't know what loyalty is. That's for Tim Burchett. And you know what, Mr. Burchett? I agree with you. And I will tell you, if you ever ran for president, you'd be my vote. You are one of the few people that I think shows integrity. And integrity is the act of being able to do something right when no one else is looking or around. I think it's safe to say there's probably only a handful in Congress that meet that definition. Next, I want to talk a little bit about SCOTUS. Of course, I'm sure everyone's heard today, 6-3 vote from the Supreme Court. The only ones that voted with Trump were, of course, the ones that we always see come behind us, usually. Thomas, Alito. And, we see the same ones voting over and over against us. There are 2 liberals in there. I couldn't believe that they went the other way today, because they weren't just backing Trump. They were putting America last. Trump put the tariffs in place so that America could become first again, because frankly, America was shit in the Biden administration, and it all started with Obama's reign. Between Obama, Clinton, and Biden, the whole United States was almost lost. Is that what you want, folks? Because we're headed toward communism and socialism. Just look at New York. Look at all the people out there griping now because they elected this leader. And of course, what is he doing? He's going back on his word. We all knew that he would. They wouldn't listen. I want you to watch what happens to New York, because that's what's going to happen to you if you don't get on the SAVE Act and vote. Okay? The Supreme Court has already made it clear that they don't back Trump on his tariffs. That's okay. Trump came back today and came on and talked to all of us. And for those of you that missed that today, I'm going to read to you a few things that I wrote down that I thought were very important that President Trump spoke about. It seems like anymore, the staffers are running the representatives that can't speak for themselves. President Trump had sort of pushed towards that with Biden. Now we're seeing it with McConnell. It's crap when staffers are running Mitch McConnell and they're listening to the, I don't know what I want to say, the people that they shouldn't be listening to. I was going to name names, but I decided not to do that. Trump is very frustrated with that whole situation. And today, Trump hit back and made America and the world listen. That's right. He hit back. He thanked Alito, Kavanaugh, and Thomas in the Supreme Court. He thanked them for fighting for America. The two liberals, he was disappointed in, because I do believe Trump appointed those two, and I'm disappointed in them. Of course, Barrett never votes Republican. In fact, I don't even think she's a Republican. I'm pretty sure she's a Democrat. And honestly, if you ever listen to my podcast, I wish that you weren't on the Supreme Court. In fact, I don't think you have a brain cell left in you, woman. Sorry. I'm allowed to say that. I'm a woman too. And the things that you say are just absolutely ridiculous. And I could go into a long speech for all of you ladies on the Supreme Court, but I'm going to let that go for another day. Trump said Mexico, Japan, Germany, and Taiwan have ripped us off for years and years and decades. He said we used to make 50% of the cars in the United States until we didn't. Until, of course, Obama and as I've said, Biden, Miss Hillary Clinton, they got on in there and ruined what America was. We were down to less than 20% of anything being made in America to do with vehicles. Heck, Detroit, Michigan was like a ghost town. And he said that there were people out there laughing, countries out there laughing at what the Supreme Court said today. But you know what he said? You'll be the last ones laughing. Because Trump, he put a 10% global tariff over and above the normal tariffs on today. Because what the Supreme Court did, what you all may not understand, is they simply said in a roundabout way, well, not really in a roundabout way, they kind of spelled it out. Kavanaugh did, if you read his long thing, his long part in it, where they spoke on why they did it, that IEPA just said that Trump couldn't spend $1 or couldn't ask for $1 with IEPA, but that tariffs could be brought in many, many other ways, to which he sort of helped the president along, which I'm pretty sure he already knew. But Trump said that it may take a little longer to do things now, and it may take a little bit more, but it's going to happen, and we're going to fix it, no matter what SCOTUS did today. That the tariffs will continue. There is an actual, like I said, 10% increase global. And Trump said that all those countries that have backed us and worked with us, he'll work with them, and he's going to make sure that they get a good deal. But the rest of you countries, and I sure hope that includes the European Union, you're going to get hit harder than ever. Because to be fair, the other tariffs that Trump is putting into place are going to hit you harder, are going to hit you worse. And we're going to show you why we're Americans and you're only British on the other side. You mean nothing in the United States of America. Europe, you mean nothing to the United States of America, because we're putting Americans first for the first time in history, and we have a president to stand up for us. Doesn't matter if the Supreme Court's helping him or not. He's doing it. And you know what's amazing about him? You can hit him, you can knock him down, but let me tell you what, the president always gets back up, and you will always be the one that's back on the ground sitting. Take that to the bank. Trump said it today that we are immediately implementing the 10% extra tariff. We will end up bringing in more tariffs, and we're still going to win. He said, actually, Canada said that he was hoping that the Supreme Court would just pass this because what President Trump is able to do is even more than what he had asked for through the Supreme Court. Canada knew it. They'd actually spoke with Trump about it. And there were several other countries that spoke to him when he was at his conference yesterday with all the countries in the world. That's right. You know, the new group of leaders leaving the European Union in the dust back there. Yeah, that group. The group that wanted peace around the world, you know, that group. Mm-hmm. He also said a few other things. You know, there were 22 Nobel Peace Prize winners that worked on the economy. They all said he would fail. Look at America right now. Trump. That's right. Trump beat you all. 22 Nobel Peace Prize winners. And you couldn't tell us how it was going to end. You told us that this wouldn't work. Well, his tariffs did work, and he is winning. Okay? Again, the only one that's going to end up laughing in the end is Trump and America. We've made America great again. And it's going to continue. Trump was surprised with the announcement today. He said that. But he said either way, we win. They've just let us know what we can and can't do now, and the uncertainty is out. He said, why couldn't you have just told us this, you know, and let us move on? Because in all honesty, all they did was help us to know how we can handle it, how we can move on, and what tariffs we can actually use. We win either way. One way just takes a little bit longer, a little bit more work, but that's okay. Trump tried to be fair. And now, watch out, world. America's not falling to you. America's just going to keep on keeping on. And we're going to keep on getting better. That's right. So effective immediately, all national security tariffs, Section 232, plus existing 301 tariffs remain in place. That's right, I said it, in place. And in full force and effective. Then he signed a 10% global tariff under Section 122. Over and above the normal tariffs. And we are also, he said, initiating several sections onto 301 and other investigations to protect our country from unfair trading parties. Watch out. America's coming for you. If you've done us wrong, I'm going to know it. It's time for payback, people. Trump's been kind enough long enough. Kind enough long enough. He said Europe is soft now, and they're unrecognizable. Europe has to get smart. Immigration's killing them, among other things. Woke policies, etc. They're about to lose who they are. Take our word for it. You better fight for your country or you're going to lose it. The one world order is still out there. We're beating them. I hope you can too. After all, we did come from you, like Marco Rubio said. We did wish you well, but don't laugh at America. That's your biggest mistake. Don't laugh at America. You'll find yourself picking yourself up and us laughing at you. Good night, everyone. This is Chuck and Joe and the Freedom Fighters. podcast, write down below. Write and tell me if you agree with these things. Let me know. I've so enjoyed reading everything that you've written to me, and I will try to write you back. Until Monday night, have a safe weekend, and may America keep on keeping on. Thank you.